today, guys, the situation that we're dealing with is from the clinch, from the front clinch. Okay, so if I got Curtis here, okay, so Curtis is the bad guy in this scenario. Okay, all right, he's coming in to attack. Okay, so my job is to close the distance when I feel ready. Okay, I want Curtis at a far distance from me. Okay, I want him at least 2 arms length away because I know punching, kicking, it's not going to be effective. The closer Curtis, so from here, I can have my hands out a little bit, understand that distance, okay? The closer Curtis gets to me, my hands need to go from here to here, okay? The closer he is to me, my hands need to start protecting my face, okay? There's no need to reach for anything in any kind of scenario, okay? Reaching for something just exposes my face and possibly getting punched, okay? So I'm always keeping my hands here. So the closer Curtis gets to me is in relation to how far away my hands are to my face. So from here, I can be far away. As he gets closer and closer and closer, my hands get here. The last second, I want to finish that distance by crashing into him, okay? I want to run my arms right into his chest and crash. Now from here, I know that his punches are not going to be effective, so I can move my hands from my face, and I want to wrap his body right here. My head is nice and tight to his ear. I want to think about putting my ear into his heart or into his chest, whatever side. So right now my right ear is more or less in his heart, so I'm just a little off-center right here. Okay, so I'm not completely parallel to him, but I'm not completely perpendicular. Okay, I'm just off-center. We did this move in one of our earlier sessions where we took the guy down using a leg hook, or we just used the tight waist and we knocked him over. Okay, so from here, this is the position that we're starting in. Okay, all right. So Curtis is going to check my base and make sure that I'm not just like loose and just hanging on like this. Yeah, I want to make sure that my hips are in nice and tight. So come back. When I'm here, I want to make sure that my hips are nice and tight, and I'm here. He's going to base check me. He's going to move around a little bit. Good, good, good. Okay, that's just knowing that I have control. Okay, control is your first and second goal. First goal is control. Second goal is control. Third goal is whatever you need it to be. A takedown, a submission, what have you. Okay, so we need control first. So we're already here. Great. Okay, one possible scenario is he's going to start to reach over with the hand that I can see, and he's going to wrap my head and start to attack my neck here for the guillotine. Okay, we went over guillotine defense. So if that does happen, we know what to do from there. But I don't want my head there in the first place. Okay, it's not a great place for your head to be. Yeah, you know how to defend it, but it doesn't mean it's still not effective. Okay, so if we get into that situation, let's avoid the guillotine completely. Okay, so here's the move today. We've wrapped in, okay? He reaches over my head. The second I feel him commit to that, I want to lift my head into the air, high, high. You see what's kind of off-balancing his weight? That's what I want, okay? I want my head as high as possible. Once I've pushed him with my head, I want to use that same momentum to shift my body around to his back. Okay, you guys see where I'm at right here? My base is low, around the same line as my hands, and I'm really pulling his hips into me. Again, that control point, okay? From here, my hips can be back a little bit. I don't need to have my hips all the way in. Right? I have my hips back and my head's low. Okay, now it's very difficult for him to hit me, okay? Even like his left elbow, okay, it's very, very difficult. There's not really much damage being done. Okay, maybe he hits the top of my head, but the forehead is made to be hit. Okay, that's why it's so strong. Okay, you don't want to get hit in the nose, right, in the cheek and stuff like that. That's where it could do some damage. But the top of the head is very, very durable. Okay, so if we're going to get hit somewhere, let's let them hit the top of our head. Okay, so that's why I want to have my head kind of down, tucked in, buried there. Okay, so again, he's here. He comes in. I crash with my hands. I wrap his body. He starts to go for the guillotine. I lift the head, and I shuck it by. And now I'm here. Okay, hand position. Hand that's in front, palm down. Okay, I want the blade of my wrist to be in contact with his pelvis bone. Okay, right? If I go palm up, it's like this meaty part of the forearm that's in his pelvic, and it's not as uncomfortable, and it doesn't like lock it in as well. So palm down is the front hand, and then I come here, palm up, elbows come together, and I want to bring him in. You should feel his hip bone. You should feel it in like that little spot of your thumb right there. You should feel his hip bone. You know you locked into his pelvic. And then the same idea, I want a base check. I want to make sure that I have him. He can't just spin around on me. So he's going to move around a little bit, try to spin around on me, try to spin and face me. Right? He can't. Okay? So I'm in a good scenario right here. I'm very safe behind him. That's usually the best place where it can be, whether it's on the ground or standing behind the person. Okay? That's like flanking somebody. Okay? In the worst case scenario, if I just want to disengage, I can always let go of my hands, give them a good shove, and I can go if I need to. If I feel like that's the proper, steps to take. Okay, but maybe not. Okay, but that's the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to establish the rear clinch. So one more time. He's here. He comes in. I crash. A wrap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 base check. He starts to wrap the head. If I wait too long, now if I'm here, it's very difficult for me to lift my head up. His arm's all the way around it. I got to try to battle my broken posture. It's no good. So come back a step. So I go back more. Okay. So I keep my head's up right now. As he goes around, I want to keep my head up even higher. I don't want to let him break my posture. And from there, I can just release just a little bit in order to shift my body around. And then I'm here, okay? Notice my ear placement hasn't changed the whole time. My right ear was touching his chest. When I finished the move, my right ear is touching his back, okay? So there's no switching of the head at all, okay? We want to cut all the fat out of the move. Okay, real simple. Clinch, he wraps, I lift the head, shuck him by, and I'm right here. Nice, good base. My head is low, tight, and I'm here. Okay? Let's grab a partner. Let's give it a shot. Real simple. Okay, time. So good. So that scenario can happen by mistake on my part. Like maybe I went to go crash, and instead of putting my head in his chest where it should be, I by mistake somehow got into his little pocket area. Okay, so you just have to recognize that if I go and crash Curtis and I do it wrong and I end up here, I have to recognize that right away. I can't let him get too deep into the guillotine because then it's going to be hard to take the back. So back up. So if I realize that as I crash and my head is here, I need to be quick to that movement and understand that, hey, my head's in a dangerous position. I need to transition and move to the back right away. Okay, so it can happen by mistake. And it could happen because the guy tries to reach over for your head. Regardless, you have to recognize the position and transition right away before you get too deep into a guillotine. Okay? All right, so just recognize, where's my head? Is it in danger? Yes, move on to that. And all that happens in a split second. Okay? So just developing the reflexes and doing this, you'll get better and better and more comfortable at it. Okay? So now, the technique is here, right? He's wrapping the head. I shuck by and I take the back, okay? He base checked me for a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, great. Now I feel him kind of stop moving forward, right? If he's moving forward in this position, I'm not trying to take him backwards. I'm just maintaining connection. Okay, when I feel him start to stop moving or start to maybe push back into me because he doesn't know what to do, there's my opportunity for the takedown, okay? So nice and slow. What's going to happen? The same knee corresponding to each other, okay? I'm going to put my knee right behind his, okay? Think of that IT band here along the thigh. I want that right up against his hamstring knee area, okay? I want to go relatively deep. I don't need to step like this, right? That's not necessary, because now I'm kind of stretched, I'm elongating my base, and I'm all stretched out, off balance, okay? But I don't want to do this either, where it's easy for him to just kind of step out of it. Yeah, right? So I want to just kind of step in nice and deep, and you'll develop the right there, right? You see how he's kind of sitting on my thigh? That's perfect. Okay, so he's got to travel quite a distance before he goes around it, and I still have a good base. Okay, so right here. Okay, and I still have him in here. Okay, my next goal is going to be to step back and put this knee on the ground. Okay, now I've created a nice hole right here for him to go. All right? As I kneel, I'm pulling him with me, knocking him over my leg. Okay, it's really simple, effective takedown. So we're here, right? After he's moved around already, now he stops. So I go 1, 2, 3 happens together because you need to create momentum. So I don't want to go 2, and now see how I'm trying to pull him now. I want to keep him glued to me, and as 2 happens, 3, right there. Let go of my hands, and I can do a couple of things from here. I can either step into the mount and take from here, okay, and then we go from there, or back a step. I take him down, okay, and then I transition to a side control position. So I go perpendicular to him. I want this far underhook, and then I can pull him back and keep him on his back, okay? In both scenarios, I have the guy on his back. That's what I generally want, okay? If he turns to his knees, yes, I can take the back and sink in a really good choke, but he also has the opportunity to get back to his feet. Okay, that's the first stage in getting back to your feet, is getting to your knees. Okay, so maybe it's what you want to do. Maybe you want him to get to his knees so you can take his back. But me personally, I prefer someone to be on their back for a little while and let them burn some energy from this position, okay, where I can see what's going on. I can see their hands, all right, and know the whole scenario. All right, let's try that again one more time. Real simple takedown, very effective. Okay, so he's here. I crash, I wrap. He starts to take the head. I shuck it by and take the back. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He base checked. Great. Now we go 1, 2, 3. So I can either go under the far arm and go to side control, perpendicular, pull him flat on his back. And now my chest is nice and heavy. On my knees, base low, right here. Boom. Okay? Or after the takedown, I can step over into the mount, and then we go from here. Okay? No problem. All right? One last time. Here, he comes at me, crash, I wrap. He goes for the guillotine. Shuck by, base check. 1, 2, 3. Side control. Okay? Let's give it a shot. Okay, so now let's work on a different control from that takedown. Okay, so the same takedown, but maybe that far arm is not accessible. Okay, maybe it's tough to get underneath that far arm. Okay, so how can I control that top arm in a way where he can't roll one way or another? Okay, normally that far underhook is going to allow me to keep him flat on his back and stationary. Okay, but if that underhook is very tough to get to for whatever reason, we can use that top arm and secure a KIMURA control, which is very good for keeping somebody kind of like flat on their back-ish, okay, but more or less not allow them to get to their knees, okay? So the same concept, okay, so we're here, boom, he wraps the head, I shuck it by and take the back, okay? From here, I do the takedown, nice, 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 boom, okay? For whatever reason, I feel like this arm maybe is tucked underneath, yeah, see how the arm kind of got trapped underneath it? So I don't feel like it's there, so how do I get him flat on his back, okay? So now from here, that arm that was going to reach for that far underhook, it's going to go really shallow into his elbow joint. So right here, this hand's going to go really shallow into his elbow joint. Okay, you guys see here? Just to the wrist. That's all I don't need to go all the way deep here. It's not necessary. So it's just shallow, okay? Now as I go perpendicular, I want to grab his own wrist with the other hand. Now I grab my own wrist, and I pull him in. Okay, this is the KIMURA control, okay, or a double wrist lock. Wrist, wrist, double wrist lock, okay? I'm still on my knees, okay, and now I can keep him more or less in this kind of perpendicular to the floor position, okay? So if Curtis tries to roll to his knees, I can pull the KIMURA backwards, okay? If he tries to turn into me, I can push forward with the KIMURA, okay, maintaining this position that he's in. The big thing is just keeping this elbow and tricep glued to my chest for the control and bringing his wrist in. Okay, it's like packing it, like we did the Americana. It's the same idea as packing the movement or the control point. Boom, right here. Okay, and again, he tries to turn away, I pull back. He tries to push into me, I push forward. All right, so I'm just kind of feeling his energy and adding whatever opposite direction I need to keep him in the stationary position. Okay, from here we have a lot of follow-ups, okay? We can step over the head, and we can sit back for an armbar position where we can hyperextend the elbow. We can step over the head, lift the KIMURA, and attack. Okay, this is very common for law enforcement, okay, because he puts that person in that handcuffing position, okay? So you see the KIMURA grip a lot in law enforcement tactics, okay? But it's an excellent form of control, okay? Just live rolling, right? Just grappling sense, it's an immense amount of control, okay? So let's play around with the KIMURA grip one more time. One more time. Here, he attacks me, I crash into him, I wrap. He gets the hat, shuck it by. Okay, base check me for a second. Okay, I feel like he stopped. Look around, make sure there's nobody. I'm not gonna throw Curtis into somebody else. 1, nice and deep. 2, 3. Oh, I can't find that elbow. short KIMURA grip, right here. Okay, I want both my knees on the floor, whether your toes are digging into the ground or you have your insteps on the ground, that's preference, okay? Sometimes I do both, okay? The toes on the ground gives me better driving force forward, but I feel like instep, it allows me to sink really, really low backwards, okay? So it just depends on how you feel, okay? It's up to you. All right, you guys want to give it a shot? Look at the KIMURA grip, glued to your chest, not like this. Too much movement he has here. No matter where I go, that tricep stays glued to me. Okay? Let's give it a shot. Let's try the KIMURA control.